Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we will talk about the absolute explosion at Forrester Creations, where Eric Forrester just did the unthinkable and slapped Steffi to protect Hope. I cannot breathe. I literally cannot breathe right now, you guys. I am typing this up at 2 a.m. with my hands still shaking from the adrenaline of what we just witnessed on our screens. I have been watching The Bold and the Beautiful since 2015. I have seen people come back from the dead. I have seen mannequins come to life. I have seen Sheila Carter do the absolute most. But this is the most shocking, unhinged, deeply satisfying, but also terrifying thing they have ever done. Eric Forrester, the patriarch, the man who practically invented elegance, just marched into the CEO office and slapped his own granddaughter across the face. I am still screaming. Am I the only one who had to rewind that scene like 5 times just to make sure I wasn't hallucinating? Because my jaw is currently on the floor and I don't think I'll ever recover from the sheer cinematic drama of it all. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's back up and actually process how we got to this absolute nuclear meltdown of a scene, okay? Back to the point. So we all know the tension between Steffi and Hope has been building for months. It's been a ticking time bomb. Steffi has been completely insufferable lately, absolutely refusing to give Hope a straight answer about the Hope for the Future launch date. She's been dangling Hope's career over her head like some kind of twisted power trip, because she's projecting all her anger about Deacon and Taylor onto Hope. And Hope finally reached her tipping point. She marched into that CEO office, stared down Steffi and Ridge, and demanded to know if she still had a place at Forrester Creations. We all knew Hope was secretly sitting on that massive, lucrative offer from Katie to join the new Logan fashion house. Carter Walton literally warned Steffi and Ridge that a storm was brewing. He explicitly said there would be a price to pay for pushing people too far. But did Steffi listen? Of course not. Because Steffi never listens when she thinks she has the upper hand. And then the confrontation happened. Steffi decided she was totally done playing games. Instead of acting like a rational co-CEO, she completely lost her mind and fired Hope. Just like that. Terminated. Done. Steffi looked Hope dead in the eye and told her she was fired for betraying the company, which is the most hypocritical garbage I've ever heard. How is Hope betraying the company by simply asking for a launch date for a line that makes them millions of dollars? But Steffi didn't stop there. Oh no, she had to go for the jugular. She had to make it personal. Steffi started screaming about the Logan bloodline. She started throwing out all these vicious generational insults about how the Logans are a virus, how they always take, and how Hope is just another manipulative Logan who doesn't belong in the Forrester legacy. It was so incredibly nasty. I mean, I know Steffi hates the Logans, but the level of vitriol coming out of her mouth was absolutely staggering. She was fully channeling her inner Stephanie Forrester, and it was honestly hard to watch. But just when Steffi was hitting the absolute peak of her self-righteous, arrogant tirade, the doors to the CEO office swung open. Enter Eric Forrester. You guys, I actually gasped out loud. We haven't seen Eric in the thick of the drama for a hot minute. He's been dealing with his own depression. He's been furious about Katie and Bill using his designs for their Logan fashion event. And he's just been kind of hovering in the background. But the man, the myth, the legend walked into that office right as Steffi was dragging the Logan name through the mud. And the look on Eric's face, chills. Literal chills all over my body. He looked at Steffi, not like she was his beloved granddaughter, but like she was a stranger who had just spat on his life's work. I can't believe they actually did it. Before I even explain the slap, we have to talk about the sheer silence in that room. The music completely dropped out. You could hear a pin drop. Eric took 3 steps towards Steffi, his eyes blazing with a fury I haven't seen from him in decades. Steffi didn't even have time to finish her sentence. She was standing there, chin up, looking so smug, so entirely convinced of her own absolute power. And then, bam, the slap. Eric Forrester raised his hand and delivered a slap so fierce, so echoing, that I swear I felt it through the television screen. It wasn't just a little tap, it was a full-on back-of-the-hand reality check that completely spun Steffi's head around. I am sorry, but I actually jumped off my couch. Steffi's hand flew to her cheek, her eyes wide with absolute, unadulterated shock. She looked like a little girl who had just been scolded, completely stripped of all that CEO arrogance in a fraction of a second. Hope gasped and covered her mouth. Ridge literally froze like a statue. It was the most beautifully chaotic television I've seen all year. Am I the only one who has completely mixed feelings about this? Like, I know some people are loving this, and the forums are going crazy cheering for Eric, but personally, I am so torn. On one hand, I am fundamentally against violence, and hitting your granddaughter is obviously incredibly toxic and wrong. But on the other hand, Steffi needed to be humbled so badly. She has been running around Forrester Creations acting like she is the sole dictator of the fashion world, disrespecting Hope, ignoring Carter's warnings, and completely forgetting who actually built the empire she is currently sitting on. Sometimes contradict yourself, right? Because I hate the violence, but I was also screaming, yes, Eric, tell her at the top of my lungs. I am so emotional, and I am just trying to figure out my thoughts as I type this out. Let's talk about what Eric said right after the slap, because the dialogue was absolutely iconic. He pointed a shaking finger at Steffi and basically roared at her. He declared in front of Ridge and Hope that as long as he has breath in his lungs, no one is allowed to fire Hope Logan. He called Hope the soul of hope for the future. The soul, you guys. Do you realize what a massive validation that is for Hope? After weeks of Steffi telling her she's irrelevant, that her line is a failure, that she doesn't matter, Eric Forrester himself steps in and declares her the absolute core of the brand. It was the ultimate vindication. Hope looked like she was about to burst into tears, and honestly, same. Because Eric isn't just acting out of emotion here, he is acting like a brilliant businessman. Think about the context. Katie Logan and Bill Spencer are literally circling like sharks right now. They just hosted a massively successful Logan fashion event using Eric's old designs. Liam has been pitching Deke Sharp to be the new designer for a potential Hope line at Logan. Katie is dangerously obsessed with poaching Hope. If Steffi had successfully fired Hope, Hope would have walked straight out of that building, marched over to Bill Spencer's office, and launched the rival brand that would have absolutely decimated Forrester Creations' younger demographic. Eric knows this. He knows that Steffi's petty, emotional vendetta against the Logans was about to cost the company millions of dollars and its top influencer. Eric slapped some business sense into her, literally. And can we talk about Ridge for a second? Because I am so incredibly frustrated with him. Where was Ridge in all of this? Standing there, looking confused, looking paralyzed, as usual. Ridge is always caught in the middle. And he never actually does anything to de-escalate the situation until it's too late. He's the co-CEO. He's Steffi's father. He's Eric's son. He should have stepped in the second Steffi started insulting the Logan bloodline. But no. He just let her rant till Eric had to do the dirty work. And now Ridge is trapped in the most impossible, agonizing position. He has to choose between his father, who just assaulted his daughter, and his daughter, who is actively trying to destroy the company's biggest asset out of pure spite. Ridge is useless, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Remember when they tried this dynamic with Ridge being the peacemaker years ago? Yeah, didn't work then either. He has no spine when it comes to these strong personalities. This is going to cause an absolute irreparable rift between Eric and Steffi. There is no coming back from this. You don't just get slapped by your grandfather in your own office, in front of your biggest rival, and then show up to Sunday dinner at the Forrester Mansion like nothing happened. Steffi's pride is her most defining characteristic. She is going to be humiliated, she is going to be furious, and she is going to feel so profoundly betrayed. She worshipped Eric. And to have him physically strike her to defend a Logan that is Steffi's absolute worst nightmare realized. It's the ultimate betrayal in her eyes. I am genuinely terrified of what Steffi is going to do next. She is not going to take this lying down. She is going to go nuclear. What is Hope going to do now? She was literally standing there, probably drafting her resignation letter in her head, ready to run to Katie's waiting arms. And now Eric has completely shifted the power dynamic. Hope is untouchable. She has the ultimate shield. Steffi can't touch her, Ridge can't touch her, but does Hope even want to stay in an environment that is this toxic? Imagine having to walk into work the next day knowing your boss wants to destroy you but can't because her grandfather slapped her into submission. It is going to be so awkward and so incredibly hostile. I kind of want Hope to leave anyway, just to watch Steffi completely lose it. But I also want Hope to stay and flaunt her immunity. I don't know what I want. I've been emotionally invested in the show for years, and I have to say, the writers are absolutely feeding us right now. The drama is top tier. We have the Kid Quad drama with RJ and Will fighting. We have the Sheila and Taylor mess. But this corporate civil war is the crown jewel of the current storylines. It ties so deeply into the history of the show, pulling on decades of the Forrester versus Logan feud. Eric defending Brooke's daughter against Ridge's daughter is poetry. It's tragic, messy, soapy poetry. I am dreading the fallout, but I am SO here for it. The Forrester family is officially broken. Steffi's going to wage a war, Ridge is going to cry about it, Hope is going to have to navigate a minefield, and Eric has firmly drawn his line in the sand. I need to know what you guys think. Are you Team Eric for protecting the company and hope? Or are you Team Steffi because Eric crossed a massive physical line? Let me know, because I am going to be obsessing over this until the next episode airs. We are in for a wild ride, you guys. Keep your seatbelts fastened.